Hello everyone, welcome back. Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. If you are watching for the first time, thanks for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. January is almost over already, so I thought I would go through some books that are going to be published in February that I'm really looking forward to and hoping to check out at some point this year. I have 9 books to share with you, and as usual, they are all diverse when it comes to authors, genres, and topics. The publishing dates that I have are the Canadian or US publishing dates, and they were accurate at the time that I'm recording this video, but they are subject to change, so it would be best to check with the publishers. The first 4 books will be coming out on February 2nd. First up is a suspense novel called When the Apricots Bloom by Gina Wilkinson. This is a debut novel about 3 women whose lives intersect. Huda is a secretary at the Australian Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. She is fearful of the secret police who watch and listen for information that can be used against America. They have ordered her to befriend Allie Wilson. Allie is the deputy ambassador's wife, and Allie has dangerous secrets of her own. Then Huda's former friend Rania is the daughter of a sheik, and her family has lost all of their wealth, and she is battling to keep her child safe and keep a roof over their heads. As we learn about these women, we learn of their past, the sacrifices that they are having to make to protect their families. Gina Wilson, the author, I believe is living in Australia, but I'm not positive, so I'd have to check that. But she was a former foreign correspondent, and she draws on those experiences in this novel. Next up for February 2nd is The Paris Library by Janet Skeslien Charles. This is a historical fiction novel based on a true story of the librarians at the American Library in Paris during World War II. This book is about 2 women, Odile in 1939, who joins the resistance with her fellow librarians, risking everything, and then at the end of the war experiences betrayal. The other woman is a teenager named Lily from Montana, who becomes interested in her elderly neighbor, and the 2 realize that they have some things in common and an unexpected connection. The author lives between Paris and Montana, and learned of this story when she worked at the library. Also coming up on February 2nd is The Unwilling by John Hart. This is a suspense crime novel set during the Vietnam War in southern US. Gibby's older brothers have already been to war. One of them died during the war, and Jason came back changed and from a 3-year stint in prison. He won't talk about the war or his time in prison, but he wants a relationship with his younger brother, who he was away from for so long. So he persuades Gibby to go to the lake for a day. And the day takes a turn when they encounter a prison transfer bus, and a riot starts on the bus and someone is murdered. Because of Jason's history, he becomes a suspect, and then another woman is kidnapped, and Gibby becomes a suspect as well. And when Gibby learns about Jason's past, it is much worse than he suspected, and he also discovers why someone wants him back in prison. This one sounds like there may be a few twists along the way, so we'll see. The last book I want to talk about that's coming out on February 2nd is also a debut novel by a duo of authors. It's called Girls with Bright Futures. It's by Tracy Dobmeier and Wendy Katzmeier. This is a mystery that takes place in Seattle and is set at Seattle's Elliott Bay Academy. 3 mothers find themselves competing to have their 3 daughters gain acceptance to this elite school. Alicia turns to her fortune and status. Kelly is a Stanford alumni, and she leverages her PTA influence and insider knowledge. And then Marin is single, broke, and not prepared to battle the elite school community. Just days before the applications are due, one of the girls suffers a near fatal accident, but it doesn't really seem to be an accident at all. So now the three women have to decide what they are willing to do for their daughters' futures and how they will keep secrets buried. There is one book being published on February 5th that really intrigues me. It's called The Fifth, A Love Story. It's by French-Canadian author M.P. Boisvert and translated from the French by Monica Meneghetti. This is a story about Alice, Gail, Camilla, and Simon, who live together in a polyamorous relationship, affectionately referred to as the family. Camille is a trans woman and Gail are lovers. Simon is in a relationship with Alice, and Alice is in a relationship with everyone. But when Alice invites her seemingly straight ex-boyfriend Eloy to move into their Sherbrooke, Quebec apartment, the family's dynamic begins to change in unexpected ways. This is a story about non-traditional relationships infused with Quebec culture, and it's a story that is rarely represented in Canadian literature. It is not so much about infidelity or possessiveness, but it's about the individuals as they navigate love and desire and punch stereotypes and stigma in the face. It's an honest and unconventional story that, breaks down barriers and challenges the norms in our society. On February 9th, The Four Winds by Kristin is coming out, and I have heard really great things about this one. I believe it is a historical fiction novel that takes place in Texas in 1934 during the Dust Bowl era. There's a drought and many people are out of work. Farmers are fighting to keep their land and their livelihoods as the crops are failing and dust threatens to bury them all. Elsa Martinelli is the main character, and she must make a choice to either fight for the land or go west to California in search of a better life. Up next on February 12th is a collection of 3 poetic novellas called Night Watch, The Vet Suite, by Canadian author Gillian Wigmore. These novellas center around Wigmore's experience of growing up as a child of a veterinarian in rural northern British Columbia. The stories are full of humor and compassion. Finally, on February 16th, there are 2 novels coming out. First is Dark Horses by Susan Mihalic. This is another one that I've heard really good things about, and I can't wait to pick it up. This is a story about 15-year-old Rowan Montgomery. She is an equestrian prodigy, and Rowan's father has always ruled her life, and her relationship with her father is really inappropriate. And then Will Howard is a boy that Rowan begins developing a relationship with, and this starts to change things for Rowan. And this sounds like a really dark book to me, but one that I've heard so many good things that I do want to read it. I know it's a story about abuse, but I think that it is also a story of resilience and hope. And the last book that I want to talk about is All Girls by Emily Laden, also coming out on February 16th. This is a coming-of-age story of 9 young women, which takes place at a prep school in New England. A scandal has taken place, and the administration wants the girls to keep silent. The story is about 1 year in the girls' lives, and they will need to make a decision to keep quiet or to find their voice and empower each other. So those are the books that are on my radar that are being published in February. And as I've said before, there are so many great books coming out this year. And as I read these, I will share my thoughts with you, and I will continue to try and keep up to date with, my most anticipated books of 2021 as we go along. I will leave a list of all of the books I mentioned in the description box below. Please let me know if you are interested in any of these books that you've heard of before, or let me know what's your most anticipated books that are still coming up in 2021. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.